Howdy, folks. High value DMD. Don't just give me your subscription, but please let me earn it. Let me earn your like and let me earn your comment. Kamala Harris goes on the podcast, Call Her Daddy. And in my YouTube recommendeds, I have a bunch of news channels and they recommend some things to me. Apparently, President Trump had been asked to come on this podcast called Call Her Daddy, but he rejected the offer to come on, which is unique because he usually entertains any opportunity to talk to people. But Kamala Harris went on this podcast. I did not know much about this podcast until I watched some of my news YouTubers. But this podcast is, to put it frank, they talk about a bunch of garbage on their podcast. They talk about a bunch of sexuality and just vulgar nonsense. That's not something President Trump wants to be around. A lot of toxic feminine energy in a bad way. There's good feminine energy. There's good masculine energy. But this channel does not represent values of, definitely not of the Republican Party, definitely not of conservatism, but more so of progressive ideology, because this is about, they did a segment that was about pro-abortion, and obviously Kamala Harris supports those things. And I watched the clips that this news YouTuber put out, and I'm sitting here and taking some of this in, and then I search this podcast YouTube channel and they Call Her Daddy, and there's a segment that they talk about feet, and this middle-aged woman across from this other woman is talking about how good her foot looks and all this, and the young woman is saying, "Oh yes, you should take some pics and get the bag off that." I'm sitting here, and if you don't know who I am, not to toot my own horn, I'm a regular guy. I work really hard. I'm good at memorizing. Okay, so I'm currently a dentist. I'm going to be training to be an oral and maxillofacial surgeon, believe it or not. No, I'm telling the truth. I'm from a rural small town, and my parents aren't doctors. I'm the first one to do this, okay? So that gives you a little context, background about me. I'm sitting here and listening to utter nonsense being spewed out of the mouth of this young woman who I guess she owns the podcast. I don't know her name. About feet pics, and I scroll down her channel and I see all these titles of different videos that she has done, and it's just about sex conversations. About just go look at it yourself, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And so I take a step back, and I'm thinking to myself, when I went on my journey, I did this for my future family that does not exist yet. I wanted to become a dentist, to make a good living, to provide for a family that does not even exist yet. I wanted to become a dentist to possibly do a good service to the community, to do something that actually mattered, right? And so I see this person, and this my news guy is telling me that this person has an Instagram, YouTube. They make probably $30 to $50 million a year on this podcast. And so I'm sitting here taking this information in, and my IQ is steadily dropping, hearing complete trash being talked about, and tons of views that this channel is getting. And my channel is just for fun, okay? If it gets big, then it gets big. I don't want to be famous, hence my disguise, right? But seeing somebody get so filthy rich off of such nonsense subject material, such material that doesn't add anything. It is a soft product. It is not intelligent. It does not really help people. It's just a bunch of gossip, really. So here that is, and here I am. I have worked tirelessly and studied for years to get to the point I'm at. And I'm still going to be doing more because I'm going to be studying to be a surgeon. I'm going to be putting 80 to 100 hours a week in the hospital, learning to become a surgeon, which that's something I want to do. It's part of my personal development. It is a sense of accomplishment, and it's going to reward me financially and help provide for my family that doesn't exist yet. I want to raise a family. That is my one of my goals, my essential goals in life that I feel like I need to attain as a man. And I think, well, what's the point? If you can make all this money off of doing something that is so unimportant, that doesn't give back to society whatsoever, then what does that say about what I'm doing? So I had to examine myself, and there's a couple of things that I absolutely do not envy about her. So, granted, the money sounds great on the surface. However, me personally, I wouldn't recognize these podcasters at all if I saw them in public. But that person is unable to go out in public amongst a lot of people, especially a lot of young women, without being recognized and possibly harassed. So that is one thing that is a disadvantage in her favor that I will be able to do myself. Doctors, surgeons, physicians, dentists, we are sort of quiet professionals. We can make a good amount of money and people aren't going to bother us. We're not going to be on the internet, on TV. We're not going to be in public eye. We're sort of public figures, but not like that. And I think about what she is accomplishing or the lack of accomplishments she has. At the end of her life, you don't know how long that gig is going to go on. I can do dentistry, I can do oral surgery until I die. People are going to need those services forever. So you got to think there's a shelf life probably to this product that she's pushing. These sexuality conversations, these feminist conversations, these women empowerment conversations, at least for her. Because as she gets older, her audience may fade away. Who knows? There may be a younger person to start a different podcast and take away her audience. But when she is the 70-year-old version of herself, and she looks back on her life, and she asks herself, what did I accomplish? What did I do? Who did I help? And she maybe watches old videos of the things that she said and the guests that she had on her show. She may look back and ask herself, why did I do that? What was the point of all that? Was that really helpful? Sure, I made a lot of money. Sure, I'm filthy rich. That is, if she doesn't squander it all by the end. And for what? I made all the money I could ever want. And for what? That's more so a philosophical question that you have to ask yourself. On this channel, I like to have those serious conversations. And you need to know why you're getting up every single day, why you're doing what you want to do. First and foremost, the reason why I get up every single day is to serve my God and to live out the plan and the life that I believe He has for me. To obey Him as best as I know how, to serve Him, to tell other people about Him in His gospel. I also want to continue my relationships with family. I want to get married, have my own family, take care of my wife and my future kids. That is, when you boil it down to the most basic thing, that is all I'm here for. That is the only reason I get up every single day and do what I do. And so with that, I don't envy these content creators, these influencers, whatsoever. I am perfectly comfortable with who I am and what I'm accomplishing. Because at the end of my life, I will know that I served God in every way possible, that I was a good husband, I was a good father, and I served my community as a dentist, as an oral surgeon. Hey, maybe I'll even run for politics. Maybe I will go to seminary and become a pastor and maybe do some of that too. And I can look back and see all that I have done and be fulfilled, and I can rest easy. And when I go to meet God, He will say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Those are the words that I want to hear at the end of my life. So with that, I will leave you. This video got extremely philosophical in a way that I didn't quite anticipate. But with everything, when you're asking yourself why, and you dig deep and you dig deeper, those are the places you will go. And so I hope I earned your subscription. I hope I earned your like, and I hope I earned your comment. Let me know what you think below. Have you seen the Kamala Harris Call Her Daddy podcast? Are you familiar at all with the Call Her Daddy podcast? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Let me know what you think below. Until next time.